We're gonna move from here directly to the next slide. As you know, this is a 4-week program, and today is the first class. It's not just a presentation or a talk; it's the actual first class of the 4 classes. And this week we do not have the group mentoring that is on Sundays from 10 to 30. We only have this week the class itself, okay? The group mentorings are actually hands-on meetings where we will be putting to work the tools that we'll be learning to manage the personal fields. And they are very, very interesting. We will also have in the second week, the RPF sound frequencies. That's a very interesting tool. These are frequencies that I put together back in the year 2000, following the work of Dr. Puglio. Dr. Puglio found an ancient solfeggio scale. These are ancient sounds that they use, especially the monasteries, the monks in the Middle Ages. And I took those and worked with them for a couple of years until I got, I published them and used them to create special realities or to stimulate actions in our reality. For instance, you are in a meeting and you want this meeting to be united or to be fair and to be honest. And so you can choose one of the 7 frequencies or some of the 7 frequencies to create or to promote honesty, honest behavior, honest conversation, fairness, or simply to be a loving, uniting conversation. So you'll get those frequencies, and it's very simple. You will install, if you wish, in your computers and your cell phones, a tone generator. Any tone generator will do, anyone. And the important thing is that you know the frequencies. You don't need to know them by heart. You'll have a picture probably in your phone, and just use the frequency that you need according to the situation. And it changes the magnetic field around you and changes the magnetic field of the place. Okay, we are all in this situation, in this planet, in this house, in this city, and in this professional or personal situation. And we need to acknowledge that all our choices, all our decisions have brought us here, wherever that is. That emotional space where you are, that physical space where you are, that professional space where you are there thanks to all your choices, thanks to all your decisions. And at this point in life, or evolution in life, it's not a good idea to blame it on anyone if you are not in a good spot, if you are not in a good place mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or physically. It's all about your choices. So this is a good time to put that into focus and understand that from now on, you can be the architect of your life and make all the changes you want, because in reality is you. And we're gonna share some tools that will help you do that. Now, the question is, how and where do I want to be in 5 years later? Ask yourself that question. Where do I want to be 5 years later? How do I want to be doing? What do you visualize yourself 5 years from now? You know, this is a typical question that conferencers and instructors use to open up, to break the ice in a class. But I think in our particular situation, this question could be changed, a little modification. Instead of 5 years, let's ask ourselves, let's give ourselves 1 year. How and where do I want to be in 1 year? We're closing 2020 in a few more weeks, and it's time to start planning the new year, the commitments for the new year, etc. And this program will take us right into the middle of December, where we will be using these tools to program our special 2021. This is very well connected with what I just said before. All our choices have brought us to this mental, emotional, spiritual, physical place. Wherever we are, it's our choices that took us here. But from now, we need to understand that there are two types of people in the world, two archetypes. The first one are the leaves in the river. You know what happens with a leaf in the river, right? The stream will take you, bump you on the rocks. Perhaps the stream joins another stream and becomes a huge river, and there's a waterfall, a huge waterfall, and you are not the commander of your destiny. You are not. You are just somebody that believes in destiny, and destiny is what takes you there, and you pray and you act accordingly, but the fact is that you are just trapped in the river. But it's a choice we all have to become the river. See, there's a big difference. The river knows where it goes, has a course, has a speed, has a destination, and it carries leaves. So how many times during the day, during the course of the 24 hours, you are a leaf or you are a river? You are leading your destiny, you are dictating your actions, your thoughts, you're in control of those thoughts and your emotions. Or you're just a leaf in the river, you cannot control your thoughts, your emotions, and it's a choice. I just want to bring that to your mind, that is a choice. You have a choice. And there is no one that is just 100% of the time behaving like a river. I haven't met that person. And this particular thought of being the leaf in the river or the river, I've been introducing in every single class I teach since the year 2000. And I have taught hundreds of classes. And the thing is that every time I ask my students about that, they agree that within the same 24 hours, we can be both. Sometimes the leaf, sometimes the river. But the trick is to start staying more time, a higher percentage of the time of the 24 hours being the river. Any comments here? Okay. We entered to share the first of the tools to manage the personal field. How do helium-filled balloons behave, Jim? How do they behave, Jim?
They float.
Okay.
They're lighter than air, so they float.
Okay, and if you have a bunch of them in your hands tied up with this, if for some reason you lose some of them, they will float, they will go. Is it easy to control them?
As long as you hold on to the string.
As long as you hold on to the string. Excellent, excellent. So the other string, we are gonna call it equanimity and self-governance. That's the string we need to attach to ourselves, because our mind, our thoughts, listen to this carefully. Our thoughts are so powerful. The most powerful tool we have is our mind. And our thoughts are so powerful that are creating every single part, every single piece of the hologram around you that we call reality. So it's very important to learn to govern them and to have the thoughts that we really want to create. The problem is that over 90% of the thoughts of any person at any given time are thoughts of the past. Do you follow? We think about the past without even thinking about it. It's an automatic function of the brain or the mind. But this can be managed, because imagine at what time, when, if you are thinking 90% of your thoughts are thoughts of the past, at what time are you creating new thoughts? The new thoughts are only created, can only be created in the present. In the present. The present is the most important moment. The past no longer exists. The future doesn't exist yet. And where are you going to create and generate new thoughts to power up or to mold or give shape to your reality? Only in the present. So equanimity, what do you think it is for you, equanimity, Cara? Cara, what is equanimity for you?
Being objective.
Perfect. And what is self-governance for you?
To be responsible for my choices and independent.
That last word, Cara, independent. To be in charge of your life. That's the most important part. But you soon are gonna find out that sometimes these balloons that represent us are not tied up and hold on properly. And sometimes we need just a little incident, and we can lose it. For instance, the internet this morning, yeah, with me. I'm not at my home. I came to visit my sister-in-law, and I said, I'll do the class from there. I recorded a couple of videos from here, but for some reason, it seems that internet didn't work. But what if I lose it? You know, it became nervous or frustrated. We cannot allow ourselves to do that in certain moments, because we need to be in control. We need to be using equanimity, so we are in a state of balance, equilibrium between what we feel, what we think, and what we do. So this is going to be the first tool we need to learn. These are choices. This is not a matter of luck or destiny. We can choose to use these tools, okay? Now we enter into the field. The tools are philosophical tools, are ways to control what we do and how we do. But we all humans created a reality based on electromagnetism. And the whole thing is based on that. But we are not even aware, or we don't pay attention anymore. We take it for granted. But the electromagnetism is basically a force that is created due to the electrical current. Wherever you have electricity, what you really have is visualize a piece of metal where that is made of atoms, and the electrons of each atom are jumping from one atom to another at tremendous speeds, from the South Pole to the North Pole at tremendous speeds. It's exactly similar to what you will experience if you are trying to cross the street and you're waiting for the traffic signal to change and several cars pass by at tremendous speed. What is that you experience? Some kind of wind, right? Because the cars move the air and generate that wind. That's exactly what the electrons do when you have electric current, electricity. They jump from one atom to another and generate what we call an electromagnetic field. Okay? Is that explanation good? Fine. The largest electromagnetic field we have is the Earth's magnetic field. It comes from the core, the liquid core on the planet. There's a liquid core of iron and nickel melted at really, really high temperatures. The atoms of that nickel and iron are jumping from one atom to another, but you're talking about a massive Earth core. And that generates electricity and generates a magnetic field that that I always compare to a force field of a spaceship, you know, that protects us, in particular, from sun radiation. Yeah, on the surface of the sun, there's a lot of activity. There are eruptions, and the sun broadcasts these not so good radiations. And so the first line of defense for humans, for life on Earth, is this Earth's electromagnetic field. The second one is the atmosphere, and that filtrates some of the ultraviolet rays and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is a reality of which not everybody is aware, but it is there. The same way we are not aware, we don't see it, the electromagnetic fields that and the electromagnetic frequencies used to for communications, like the cell phone communications, or the TV communications, or the or any electric device that we use for communications. See? Our body has also an electromagnetic field that ancients called aura. They had a way to perceive intuitively that we had an EMF around our bodies, and they call it aura. According to, depending on the culture or on the planet, they believe the aura is a spiritual manifestation, or it's something beyond the human grasp. Well, my friends, the aura has nothing to do with spirituality. The aura has all to do with electromagnetism, and electromagnetism that we can manage. The aura can be read, can be measured. I have lots of friends in the States, in Europe, that can do aura readings just by watching you carefully. They have a special, they develop their intuitive intelligence, and they can do readings on the aura. But there are computers and machines and programs that can do that too. You put the palm of your hand over a sensor, and the computer gives you a full report of 20, 30 pages about you and your character, your inclinations, your emotions, and so on and so forth. Yes, that's fine, that's okay. But so far, we're just being subjects to read our electromagnetic field and to be aware that it's there, but what uses do you think it might have? Joel, could you help us, please? What uses do you think your electromagnetic field can have if it were under your control?
It can help you for health. It can help you for manifesting. It can help you for all kinds of things, no?
Perfect, perfect. We are gonna focus on shaping our reality for now. But what you just said is very, very important because it can be used to change a state of health from bad to good. It can be used to attract things to our lives. That's very important. That's very important. So I need to now explain how we are going to how is that body produces this electromagnetic field. In the meantime, could you please pull in your computer and just share in the chat the link to the Medium the Medium blog about the electromagnetic field and how we generate it in the brain and in the heart, so everybody can have access to read that after the class. Okay. Just think about this. Every time you have an idea, let's say you plan to have a wonderful activity tomorrow. Every time you have an idea, you generate a positive charge into your magnetic field, in your personal field. Let's think about something real that you plan to do tomorrow. Just think about it and feel the emotion that it generates to create that idea. The moment you have that idea, for instance, tomorrow I have a special meeting with my brother that came from another city to visit, and we're going to have a family lunch, just the three of us with a cousin, because we cannot do large meetings. We're responsible. We have this virus here, so we want to be responsible. So I'm going to cook something special, and I'm thinking about the groceries that I'm going to purchase, and I'm thinking about the wine that we're going to drink, and so on and so forth. And that creates an emotion, and it's nice. And I use my brain, so I generated a lot of electricity, and I also felt a lot of nice things, and so I also generate a positive charge into my magnetic field. And that symbolizes here in this sphere, white sphere, and the idea is this green arch of the impulse that I generated. But about 20 seconds after you generate any good idea, your brain automatically generates doubts and fears automatically without your consent. And sometimes those doubts and fears generate a more powerful impulse of negative charge into your field. Okay, so that's why some people say, I have lots of ideas, I want to do this and that, but they cannot do it because they have created a cycle of negativity. And the key is to control the thoughts and emotions. And the tools we're going to learn during the programs are precisely to do that, to revert that. It's impossible to have a field charge only with positive charges. It's impossible because we live in a world that is dual. In other words, duality is a need because the atoms are formed by positive, negative, and neutral charges. If for some reason we say, no, we just want to be positive, and we take away the negative charge of the atom, the whole universe will collapse. So part of the balance, the art of living, is moving with grace and equilibrium and balance within those two forces. We talk about bioelectric bioelectromagnetic fields. Bio, because this is electricity and electromagnetism that is generated in our brain by our brain function, rather said, and by our heart functions. We have specialized cells in the brain and in the heart that produce electricity. And so far, it seems to be an interesting conversation, you know, like the ones we have sometimes with good friends. But here we need to go a little bit deeper and into science, because otherwise we won't be able to really have a good hand and good control on our field. To begin with, in our brain we have over 100 billion neurons or brain cells. In our heart we have another share, and they produce electricity. How do they produce electricity? It's a very, very simple process, but mathematically precise process. And it all happens in the membrane of the cells, of the brain cells and heart cells. Basically, we have, these cells are not, are floating, let's say, in a liquid, in a fluid, the external fluid, and the internal fluid of the cell itself. And there are ions of potassium and sodium inside and outside of the cells. And we have these interesting parts of our body called the sodium potassium exchange pumps. These are little bulbs that are in the cell, in this membrane, and they open and close to allow in and out potassium and sodium inside and out of the cell, so that they create a potential charge in the membrane of the cell. And so that's the way that's the electricity cells need to communicate. In the case of the neurons, that's the electricity they need to generate the electric impulses to communicate with each other. And literally, when we are thinking, where there's brain activity, there is a thunderstorm of electricity in our brain. And that, as I explained before, generates electromagnetic field. It's similar to what happens when you're trying to cross a street and you're waiting for the traffic light to change. The cars that are passing in front of you move the air and generate that wind. In this case, the electrons moving in your brain because of the electric activity generate this wind, so-called wind, that is your electromagnetic field. The same happens in your heart with the heart activity, and it's all about these pumps of sodium and potassium. Let me show you a quick video, so we have a mark of reference, and then you can read it too.
Active transport is a type of cell transport that requires the input of energy in the form of ATP. The proteins that conduct this form of transport are often called pumps because they force molecules or ions to move from an area of low concentration to an area of high concentration. This is commonly referred to as against the concentration gradient. One of the more common examples of active transport is the sodium potassium pump. The job of the sodium potassium pump is to move sodium ions, or Na+, out of the cell, and potassium ions, or K+, into the cell. Let's take a closer look at how this happens. The sodium potassium pump has binding sites for 3 sodium and 2 potassium ions. Let's follow the movement of the sodium ions first. After 3 sodium ions are positioned within the carrier protein, an ATP molecule is split, releasing phosphate. This phosphate binds to a location on the exterior of the carrier protein, causing the protein to change shape. As the protein changes shape, the 3 sodium ions are released to the other side of the membrane. Next, 2 potassium ions position themselves within the carrier protein, causing it to undergo another change in shape. In the process, the phosphate molecule is released. Once the phosphate molecule is released, the carrier protein expels the potassium ions into the interior of the cell. The carrier then resumes its initial shape, completing the cycle. Notice that for every 3 sodium ions leaving the cell, 2 potassium ions enter. Since both sodium and potassium ions have a positive charge, this unequal movement causes an electrical gradient to develop across the plasma membrane of the cell. A number of cellular processes, including the generation of nerve impulses, use this electrical gradient.
Okay. Jim, did you share the link for the blog?
I did.
Perfect. You guys in the chat, you'll find a link. Please take that link and open that in your computers. You'll have an article I read about the sodium potassium pumps. So you have something in writing. And for the next class, please do some research. There are hundreds and thousands of videos about the sodium potassium pumps. This is a function of our bodies that we are not very familiar with, and is critical for the generation of our electromagnetic field. So now the electromagnetic field, the so-called aura by the ancients, is no longer just a concept, is a reality. We're producing that with every single thought, with every single emotion, with every single beat of our hearts. It's the bioelectric activity that generates it, okay? And our mind, as I said before, is so powerful as a tool that with our thoughts and emotions, it shapes your reality, the hologram that I call. It's just a hologram. All what you see around you is just an hologram. It's solid, yes. You can knock on the wood and sit on the chair and touch the chair that you are sitting on and eat the food that you have in front of you. But in reality, is all of that is just created by our minds. And since we are all one, we have created this common reality. Somebody else just joined in also. Just gave access. Welcome. And so this is the power that we really have. This is how powerful humans we humans really are. And because of not knowing these little tiny things, we cannot control it. And so we are the leaf in the river instead of being the river. See? But it's a choice. And with the tools we're going to be sharing, that choice will be much easier to perform. Now we're going to learn to manage that polarity. And we start by understanding that fear and doubt are present both in success and failure, because we're going to talk about life cycles of success, life cycles of stagnation, life cycles of negativity. And it's all produced by these thoughts and these emotions and our heartbeat. So let's say we have an idea. Again, we are going to write a book. We're going to write a book. We all want to write a book, right? I wrote a book a few years ago, and it was fantastic. It is fantastic. And now I need to translate it to English. So I have that thought. And so we all are smiling because we know that it's true. We have enough material to write that book, and our brain cells are generating that electricity, and our heart and our emotions are creating, and our magnetic field all of a sudden is charged positively with those thoughts. Okay? And this electromagnetic field has a specific dimension. It should measure 9 feet wide in diameter. 3 metros, 3 meters, for the metric system, 3 meters or 9 feet wide in diameter, okay? So it's filled with that nice emotion, but all of a sudden, 20 seconds after you have that thought, boom, automatic doubts and fear charge your field with negative impulses. Oh, what if nobody likes my book? What if I cannot publish? What if? Yeah, the first what if is, what if I don't have the time? See? And so you just have created a life cycle of stagnation. Your magnetic field doesn't know what to do because you have given an equal charge of positive and negativity to it. So your magnetic field cannot attract nothing. And that's why most people have this problem. I want to write a book. I want to write a book. I heard them saying for 20 years that. Yeah. What about this? So the idea and the fear. So stagnation, right? The idea, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book. The emotion. But 20 seconds later, this person that has a specific past, a specific low self-esteem, and doesn't have these tools, allows the mind to generate more thoughts of doubt and fear than the thoughts of writing a book. And so all of a sudden, your personal field is charged with more negativity than positive. And what happens is that you start to attract to your life more of the same, more negativity. Have you ever experienced that situation where something goes wrong and then something else goes wrong and then something else goes wrong and something else goes wrong? And so the day goes wrong. It's because of this, because you allowed your magnetic field to be charged with more negativity. Because once it's charged with positive charge, more positive charge or negative charge, it will attract more of the same. So it's very simple. So how to stop it? I'm going to share the first tool, and the first tool is to cancel your thoughts. You just need to understand that the brain and the mind are just tools to you. And the brain is just a machine, no different from the computer you are sitting in front. And the magic trick is that it obeys your commands and has no choice but to obey. I repeat, your mind obeys your commands and has no choice but to obey. Okay? And this should be taught to little children. I do that. I taught this to my children. I teach this to everyone I meet. And how you do that? Without closing your eyes, without taking deep breaths, you just say to your machine, you are the owner of that brain. You say, I cancel that thought. Without words, mentally you just said, I cancel that thought. And let me run the exercise. Let's all imagine that we are writing the book. We have the book. The book has been published. We are sitting in a desk, in a library. The pandemic is gone. There's no COVID, and people are packed right in front of us, asking us to sign the book and write a nice note for them. Okay? Cancel that thought. Cancel that thought. See, you're no longer there. There's no book anymore. And now think of you spending next summer on a beach in Aruba, sunny. Cancel that thought. Now I want you to think on a particular challenge you have in your life right now. Challenge. See, you are charging your fields with negative impulses. Cancel that thought. And think on the beach again. Think on the book again. Cancel that thought. Think on the COVID-19. Think about the COVID-19 and the pandemic. Cancel that thought. Think about your family, your friends. Okay, guys, this is as simple as that. This is one of the most powerful tools I can share. At the beginning, right after this session, you'll find yourselves canceling thought after thought after thought because of what I just said at the beginning. 90% of our thoughts are thoughts of the past. They don't have any use for you. They are making waste your mental energy, your mental powers. You are not creating any new thoughts because of that. So the whole course has to do with that. Come to a point where you can create more new thoughts voluntarily and can kill the negative thoughts and learn to positively charge your magnetic field to attract situations to your life. So remember, when one thing goes fine, another thing goes okay, another thing goes okay in the same day. But if something goes wrong and you don't have control, something more will happen. So what you do when something goes wrong, please, that's the second tool I'm sharing with you today. You stop everything. You stop everything. You sit down and you cancel those thoughts and you generate new thoughts on the beach, the book, your family, and then you move on again. Okay, I'm gonna take questions and I think today's session is it's over. How are we doing with time, Jim?
5 minutes.
Perfect. So we're going to use those 5 minutes for your comments and questions, please.
Hi, Asla here. I have a question. What if I'm not aware that I have these negative thoughts? So I have the great idea and I say, okay, I know what to do. And then I stop doing and I don't know what is happening. I'm like, okay.
Yes, it's quite possible that that happens, that we are not aware because those thoughts are automatic thoughts of negativity. They're automatic. They just happen. And you're not aware that you're having them. Like, for instance, let's write a book. Let's all think about writing a book. Immediately, we start thinking about the money, the cost of it, and the time that we need to pay to pay into the effort. So that's normal. Somebody says, yes, it's normal. Put your feet on the ground, man. You have to think about, do a plan and do a list of all the things you need to do to accomplish that. The moment you start doing that, you start charging with negative and doubt your field. See? So what I'm teaching is to cancel those thoughts and to focus on the idea, to keep focus. And then, of course, in this program, I'm gonna share a meditation method also that is called the mental focus meditation method that you'll need. And there's also a healing therapy that I'm gonna share and self-healing therapy that I'm gonna share that is used to actually manage your brain, actually to manage your brain and to help heal the brain. That's why I'm so glad to be taking Jim's brain course, because it's a fantastic tool to understand. And if we combine that with what I'm gonna be showing you, you're actually going to be able to have a good diet, your brain diet. You're gonna be able to cancel negative thoughts, and you're gonna be able to self-heal your brain. This sounds way out there, but I've been doing this for 20 years. Believe me, I've seen it. So, any more questions or comments?
Thank you.
I cannot hear you, Iris. Perfect.
Oh, sorry. Okay. If the bubble, quote unquote, of idea is 3 meters or 9 feet, how big is the bubble of the doubts and fears? Does it fill the exact same space? Is it larger? Is the charge more intense? How would you describe that?
First of all, I have a couple of devices with which I measure the width of the sphere. I rather call it a sphere. The sphere has the same size for the negative and the positive. It's the same sphere that is occupied all of a sudden by positive charges and negative charges, just that one of those has more power, is more powerful. There are some people that don't have it. I said before, when I introduced this concept, that it should be 9 feet wide in diameter. It should be, but the fact of the matter is that it isn't. Most people that are depressed, experience some sort of mental challenge or ailment, depressed, anxiety, so on and so forth, they tend to have it shrunk to perhaps 2 feet, 3 feet. And so these people are in real trouble. But there are some people that have it overexpanded too. I've seen people that have it 30, 40 feet wide. And that's not good either, because remember, every time you are walking, some other people are inside your sphere. Do you follow? And when you're in a meeting, we are sharing spheres. And that's why we can use this to connect with people, to do readings on people, to heal people, to do many, many things. But this is just the first class. This is just the beginning. Any other questions, please? Comments?
I think this first class is awesome, and look forward to the rest of it.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. I suppose you all sign up for this class in the landing page. There's a landing page. Let me just move from here. This landing page. At the bottom of this landing page, and I'm gonna put the link here. At the bottom of the landing page, this was the link to join this first class. And again, this is just the beginning. I've just laid down the foundations for the rest, and I share just a couple of tools with you. This is the whole program, and at the end you can sign up till midnight tonight. You can access this special price of $74.95, and we're gonna be working well into the middle of December, preparing our plan for the year 2021, and do lots of interesting stuff. So please join me, and we'll see each other next Saturday at 9 a.m. and then the following Sunday at 10:30 a.m. for the hands-on mentoring class. that's a mentoring where we can do lots of interesting stuff with the tools that we learn. Okay. Let me just go
Francisco.
here. Yes.
I see you've been recording this. Are you gonna let us have the link, because we can maybe use it to promote the class a little bit further with people who haven't been able to attend today?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I'll do that, and thank you, Kirsty, for the reminder. Yes, of course. I won't do recordings of the rest of the classes. I'll do recording of this class because it's a promotional one. It's an introductory one that allows people to understand where I'm coming from, because I've been teaching this in South America mainly. I haven't done it for the North Hemisphere, so I'm new relatively for you guys. So thank you, Christy, for the reminder. Anything else? Any other comment? No?
Marcelo's speaking, but he's muted.
Yeah.
Oh, Marcelo.
Oh, am I?
We got you now.
Still? Yeah. Oh, it's an amazing class, Francisco. You made it so clear for us. I really appreciate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. I just shared with you in the chat the link to that landing page where you can join the class. Remember, you have till midnight tonight. Enjoy that 50% discount. Pablo convinced me to do that. He said, no, please give them 50%. I said, okay, let's do it. Anyway, it's the first time I'm doing it in English since the year 2007, when I moved back from the States to the middle of the world in Quito, where we are. By the way, here in Quito, in the middle of the world, electromagnetics function completely different. It's amazing the things that we can do down here.
So the electromagnetic charge is higher and it gives you more ability to absorb that from your environment to be able to project forward. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, that is true. But in order to do that, it's like switching from riding a bicycle into a bike, a Harley Davidson, with a really powerful engine. You need to learn to ride it. It's not so easy. It's not so easy.
Would that also apply at the poles, since it's very highly charged there, like it goes out and then it comes back in? So would those areas also be high energy, or would they automatically have like a negative charge, making those two extremes very hard to live in?
They are more vortexes than really charged. They are like vortexes. Life is difficult over there. Down here, it's abundant. It's abundant. In the middle of the world, we don't have seasons. We do not know what winter and summer, and we only have one season. Therefore, the Earth, the planet, knows and acts differently. We harvest 2 to 3 times the same product. Because we only have times where it rains, times where it doesn't rain. But temperature and light is the same, so it's fantastic. And so we can do certain things here that are special. Hence the Galapagos Islands. Hence the Galapagos Islands. These are Ecuadorian islands that are in the middle of the world where everything functions completely different. Sharks will not attack you because they have enough food. Birds will have dinner with you in your table. They are not afraid of humans. I've done classes in Galapagos about this particular RPF class, and it's just mind-blowing. As soon as we can travel again by summer, I'll put together a trip, guys, because remember, I'm a hotel manager, and we have hotels, we have discounts. We can do things at very, very affordable prices. I've done that many, many times. Any other question?
What country are you in, sir?
Ecuador. I'm in Quito, Ecuador. And the Galapagos Islands are Ecuadorian. Most people know Ecuador because of the Galapagos Islands. Guys, I thank you for your help You are really helping me by allowing me to share this information, because since we're all one, the more people that know this, the more opportunity we have to reunite back as one. I love you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Francisco.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Francisco,
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you
Bless
very
you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a lovely weekend, everyone.
Yes,
Yes.
enjoy your
Thank
weekend.
you.
Lots of love.
Lots of love, Joel.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Ashley.
Bye-bye,
Bye.
Francisco.
Bye, Iris. Take care. Bye, Gabby. Bye, Amy.